Hey nerds, welcome to Jared Bear Reacts. Today we're going to recap season 5 of The 100. If you're new to the channel, after each of our big seasons for shows, we have a full recap, kind of soft talking points from each of the episodes, and then we're going to get into the JerAwards, where we have favorite episode, favorite character, etc., and then wrap it up with the in memoriam through everybody we lost over the course of the 13 episodes of season 5. We're 71 episodes down of The 100. We have 2 seasons left, 29 episodes remain, a little over a month left of the show. All 71 episodes are available on the Patreon. We have links and everything in the description box down below for the Patreon, for the Twitch stream, everything in between. Jerry doesn't have to go behind the scenes today, but if you're new here, feel free to subscribe for daily content. If there's a day, there is a reaction. We're going to get right into this. You know what? Let's do the recap, and then we'll do initial thoughts for season 5. So let's do it. So season 5 starts with Clark on an empty world, and right before she's about to give up hope, walking through this rubble, she finds what is to be called Eden. One smooth piece of green left. As well, she finds a forgotten nightblood by the name of Maddie. With no way to contact the ring or the bunker, she lives her life with Maddie for 6+ years, and then the prison transport reaches Earth with a gang full of strangers. It's the same prison transport that landed at the end of season 4. Now here in season 5, we learn all about them. But Clark struggling for a full episode. Solo dolo, no access to the bunker, no communication with the peeps up in space, nothing. Octavia, not knowing how to lead in the bunker, learns after some bitter facts from a dying Jaha, and over 6 years, turn the the underground bunker into an absolute war zone where there was crime, people were judged, they fought each other. The loser, we figure out what happens to them later. Kind of answer one of my questions from the episode, like, what happened to Jaha? They probably, I was going to say, they probably fucking ate Jaha, to be honest. And with the rest of it, turned into kind of a war zone, bro. You do anything slightly wrong, and you're now fighting for your right to party. Raven gets her group into a big ship only to find that, into the big ship only to find that it's deserted, except for the 300 frozen bodies that they'll use as leverage to get Clark, who has been captured by the new space folk. So they were trying to use the leverage of these 300 cryo sleep peeps to help release Clark from the captivity from the new Dioza and all these other peeps. The space peeps clear out the rubble and open the bunker right before Octavia kills... Oh, okay. That's worded so weirdly. They open up the rubble right before Octavia gets a chance to kill Kane. I just put a she outright did it. Dioza manages to get the leverage back and takes off with Abby and Kane. She needs a doctor to find a cure, possibly. For what? We have no idea. Meanwhile, Octavia calls for war. Shaw happens to be a spy who helps out Bellamy and Raven, while Octavia's group is caught between sandstorms and glass and parasites. With her group weak, she warns Bellamy of being against her, and then she spots Echo, who she banished, who's now back. And yes, she's held a grudge. But she wants Echo to be her spy. But she decides to defect to be an inside man. Maddie reveals her true nature to Octavia, that of being the heir to the throne, basically, the heir to the flame that is the commander's. Octavia recruits Maddie and gets her ready for war while she tries to weaponize these desert worms. All the while, Monty is looking for ways to broker peace, and Clark decides that they need to take out Octavia. After a failed attempt to set up Cooper, who was an asshole set up earlier in the season, Clark is sentenced to an execution, so Bellamy poisons his own sister with a Nutrigrain bar as he tries to bring peace amongst their people. That wrapped up way too quickly because Octavia wakes up in the next episode only to see Indra has betrayed her. She then learns of them trying to give Maddie the chip to become the next commander, and right as they do, Clark is ordered to take her away as Bellamy, Indra, and Gaia are taken prisoner for their deceit. Those 3 peeps have to fight each other in a pit. Gaia at one point throws a spear at Octavia, trying to take her out to end the reign of Blood Rain. Now, all the while they're fighting, Monty bursts in. He's like, make love, make algae, now war. And he just wants to be a farmer. He just wants to be a little farm daddy and live his life. Everybody sees the farm. They learn they can stay in the bunker. They don't have to go to war. They can stay and have peace, blah, blah, blah. And what the fuck happens? Octavia escapes, and she burns down the entire hydro farm. In a moment that made me super duper dislike the character. And the next episode was trying to be some sort of a redemption arc because we see flashbacks of Octavia and them being forced to eat each other. Abby gave her the idea of the people that lost in the pit would be eaten because they needed protein. 2% of their calorie intake need to be protein or else they would wither away. And they decide to do this. So much like Jaha was ordered, if you can turn Raven, everybody will follow. Abby said if you can turn Cain, everybody will follow as well. Forcing people to eat, try to force one guy to eat his own brother. He said no. She shot him, killed him right there in cold blood. Bing, bam, bop. You got to eat. You are either one crew or you against one crew. Choose. And we see she goes absolutely insane. And of course, like I mentioned before, if you eat humans, if you eat human flesh, you are going to go insane. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. With all of that laid out, I can get the trauma from Octavia. I can get the PTSD portion of it. I can get not wanting to be in the bunker, but you also just ruined potentially your one chance for peace. And when it kind of comes down to it, it's kind of she did ruin the one chance for peace. So we seen Cain work with Dioza to kind of betray one crew because he was like, do I want a monster or the devil? Monster being McCreary, the devil being Octavia, and he chooses the monster, chooses what he considers to be the lesser of two evils. So, because of all of this, Octavia runs into an ambush and loses a ton of people. With O about to sacrifice herself to save Gaia so she can be the Flame Keeper to Maddie, the latter shows up and saves the day. Maddie finally getting the approval from Clark to go save the day, blah, blah, blah. In the process of this, Cain gets stabbed a bunch of times by Vincent, and Cain, we don't really see much of him after that. He gets put in a cryo sleep with everybody else. Now, this moves into the finale, which is weird, because I like to look up the ratings for episodes after I finish the season. So they activate the Sword of Damocles, which is something Dioza had planned, right? These people from Allegius 4, they're back here. McCreary gets this book. He learns all about this stuff. Clark points a gun at Dioza's belly, saying, you ain't gonna see your kid ever. I'm gonna shoot this little shit. What you gonna do about it? And he said, fuck it. I'm gonna activate the Sword of Damocles. I'm gonna put in this launch code. He's now activating a code. It's another season ending with the lever being pulled, a code being activated, essentially. And it's basically, it's that fuel stuff that's gonna erode. It's gonna destroy Earth. Essentially, they're one last strip of green, which is Eden, and he does so. They have to wait for everybody. An attention-built moment. Everybody shows up. They all get back in the ship, and yet again, we're going right back into space. A lot of up and down, back and forth. They go into space. They don't know how to help cure Cain, so they immediately decide to go into cryosleep. Going into cryosleep is supposed to be there for 10 years. Again, back into space for an X amount of time. And then Earth should be habitable again, at least the spot for Eden. They can go back down. The 412 people they have can take that spot, but that is not the case. Come to find out, Monty and Harper stayed behind while everybody else went into cryosleep. And Monty gave the orders to keep them asleep. He said, our son will be 8 years old when you meet him. They end up having a kid he names Jordan Jasper Green. And so now we have Jordan Green on board, naming him after his best friend, who he lost. And him and Harper have a life. And then it goes from being 10 years to a little bit longer. But then it come to find out that Earth is gone. And Monty has to call a plan B. And as Monty, old and gray, looking like Raiden, he decides that they're going to set in course. He broke the Allegius 3 code and goes to that mining place. Allegius 3 sucked the earth dry of oil and then goes to another planet, and that's where they're at. 75 years has passed. All in all, 125 years they were in cryosleep. We meet Jordan. We see the new planet. May we meet again. Monty enters. Monty passes away. Harper passes away. And in a very emotional moment. And they're now here at a new planet. So I do have to say before I get into my last talking points for the recap is Season 5, Episode 13, Damocles Part 2 is the highest rated episode of the entire show at a 9.5. I gotta say, I do not care about ratings. I do like seeing when my favorite things have good ratings. I don't care about ratings. Form your own opinion, okay? If you love the finale, you love it. If you love Season 5, you love Season 5, and I love that. If you dislike Season 5, you dislike it. Why would I ever want to change anybody's opinion? I see sometimes, not everybody, but I'll see arguments of people arguing different episodes, blah, 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 rather than having like a conversation. Like, this is what I like. This is what I didn't like. Oh, wow. I never looked at it that way. That's cool. But I still love the episode. It's just a lot of, you hate this? How? You like this? How? Just let people. It's more like, you hate this, you're an idiot. You like this, you're an idiot. Just let people like what they like. Which brings me to a 9.5. I didn't like the finale. I don't know. I feel like it was too slow. I feel like the Damocles Part 1 was phenomenal. Damocles Part 2 was just kind of like, great, we're going back into space. We're moving forward to more sci-fi. We're really setting up season 6 rather than wrapping up season 5. It seems like with their two-part finales, Part 1, at least the last two seasons, that Part 1 is the finale, and the Part 2 is setting up the next season, which is a different spin. I don't know if it works too well for me personally, but it's still enjoyable. So with that out of the way, I just thought it was weird that was the highest rated episode of everything else. I think that Allegius 3, those people that was mentioned in season 4, I think Allegius 3, those are the peeps. I kept asking the question, why is the bunker empty that they were in? Those people that had the level 12 pass, right? The ones that Jaha kept mentioning. Why is this empty? I think maybe that's something that leads to Allegius 3, or those people are something that went into space, are now on this planet, etc. And it wasn't just a ghost town for no reason. They're the ones that probably burned Becca at the stake. I think they may be on the new planet. Regardless, whoever is on the new planet is probably going to be our antagonist for the upcoming season. Or we'll have somebody else fucking flying in from another different planet, and now we have aliens. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't mind them going to a different planet. It is a sci-fi show, but I really just wish there was more time spent with just that initial season 1, season 2 Earth survival felt really special. And I feel like everything after that was super duper rushed. It was sped up. I feel like The 100 is a show with those seasons that if they would have had the benefit, it's not their fault, if they would have had the benefit of having something like the Vampire Diaries schedule, where it was 22, 23, 24 episode seasons, I think it would have worked better. Shows like Game of Thrones benefited from having 10 episode seasons, each an hour plus, 50 minutes to an hour, and it completed everything in that time span. I just don't feel that this show does that. I feel like they needed more episodes, because you can make moments. While I love season 1, 2, 3, 4 a bunch, I love those seasons. If it was just spread out a little bit longer, it could have been even better. I think Teen Wolf is a phenomenal show. There's very little things I would change about Teen Wolf. I don't have any negative things to say about Teen Wolf. If it would have had some longer seasons, it would have been even better. It could have been even better. I think The 100 would have benefited from longer things. But that's season 5. Season 5 is wrapped up. And now it's time for the season 5 JerAwards. Kicking things off, first category is favorite episodes. You only have 5 nominees this season, being season 5, episode 1, Eden, 5-4, Pandora's Box, 5-6, Exit Wounds, 5-10, The Warrior's Will, or 5-12, Damocles Part 1. I went back and forth on picking on this. I thought for a minute maybe Damocles Part 1. I really like The Warrior's Will because it is all of them. It is Indra, Gaia, and Bellamy fighting, trying to take out Octavia one move after the betrayal, her burning the farm. As much as I hate that scene and it makes me dislike the character, I really just, the overall, like, just when you think it's going to go, it gets worse. I like that in an episode. But I think my favorite episode from all of season 5, episode 1, is Eden. I would have done it different. I told you guys how I did that whole episode, but I really just like Clark surviving in that desert. There's a couple things that could have happened that could have made that episode better. And then her finding Eden and meeting Maddie. I think you could have done without having anybody invade. You could have done without that. You could have waited till the second episode. But I really just like the way that Eden was planned out and her wanting to kind of unalive herself in that moment and being saved by a bird of all things that is later nourishment for her. I think that's a really great episode. So, yeah. For favorite scene from season 5, episode 2, Octavia cleaning house. From 5-3, Maddie saying Bellamy, immediately knowing who he was. From 5-4, Raven sending her logo to Shaw during the hacking exchange. From 5-4, basically flipping him the bird. From 5-4, Octavia staring down Dioza. From 5-5, Shaw pulling a gun on McCreary and helping Raven and Murphy escape. Or not escape, but work on their plan. From 5-6, Bellamy sweeping Octavia's leg. From 5-8, Bellamy poisoning his Octavia. I meant to put his sister. His Octavia. From 5-10, Bellamy holding his own in the fight pit. From 510, Monty stopping the fight and being excited about his farm. From 510, Indra giving respect to Bellamy. Or from 512, Octavia trying to self-sacrifice but being stopped by Maddie. I did really, really like Bellamy still putting his sister in place when they were kind of fighting each other, sweeping his leg, still having the advantage over the great Blood Reina, and having that moment right there. And I just, something about that was really cool. But my favorite scene from season 5 is from season 5, episode 2, The Red Queen, and that is Octavia cutting through people to get to that door and saying, you are one crew or you are against one crew. Choose. And cutting them down was a super fucking badass moment. And that is my favorite scene from season 5 of The 100. Most heartbreaking scene, holy shit, we got a big list. From season 5, episode 1, Clark about to end it all. From 5-1, seeing John and Amori was not together. From 5-1, Monty thinking about his old life. From 5-2, Ethan wanting to stay with Jaha. 5-2, Jaha's death. 5-3, Clark getting shocked. 5-4, Kane and Abby's mini farewell. From 5-7, Raven being forced to betray Shaw. From 5-7, Kane making Abby choose him or the pills. From 5-7, Monty reading Jasper's letter. From 5-8, Amori telling Murphy he'll fall apart after they're safe. Basically saying we're not getting back together. From 5-8, Bellamy poisoning Octavia. From 5-9, Octavia knowing her brother and Indra betrayed her. From 5-10, Octavia burning the farm. 5-13, Octavia and Bellamy's last talk. Or from 5-13, Monty's final message. Kind of have co-winners, but I do have a clear winner. Monty reading Jasper's letter was super emotional. And that's his best friend, and he's reading this message, and he's saying we're in an endless cycle. We are the problem as humans. Like, we are the issue for this planet. But the most heartbreaking thing for me was Monty's final message. It's just saying, you guys are here. I wish I could see it. Take care of my boy. Live a good life. I want you to be as happy on this planet as I was on this ship with Harper. And I love that a makeshift relationship that wasn't really makeshift worked out and ended up having a son. And we'll get to that when we get to our favorite ship, but whatever. And it was just sad because Monty was a pure character. He was really good. And for somebody that went through as much as he went through, yeah, that shit was rough. Funniest scene, only have 2 nominees. Again, if I find something really funny, there wasn't a lot of stuff that was hyper funny in this or tried to be comedic. The Wilhelm scream in the finale was pretty solid, or the finale eve. But I gotta say, my 2 nominees, season 5, episode 3, Clark getting shocked. Season 5, episode 4, Murphy calling Clark a cockroach in their little exchange after not talking to each other for 6+ years. Clark getting shocked was fucking hilarious, and it has nothing to do with her being like abused in that moment. It's the goddamn sound effect that she made. It wasn't a real shock thing. It was extra. It was like, it's like a Murloc from World of Warcraft. That was the funniest scene for me. I hate that that's what it is. Season 5, episode 3, Clark getting shocked takes the cake. Favorite kiss? I only have a couple nominees here. From season 5, episode 1, Bellamy and Echo. From 5-2, Jackson and Miller. From 5-6, Bellamy and Echo again. From 5-6, Amori and Murphy. From 5-8, Monty and Harper. I was going to say that Monty and Harper was going to be like the winner for this one, but also for favorite scene, not to take away from this right here, I completely forgot about this, or also funniest scene, Harper trying to make some moves on Monty and not knowing the camera was recording was a top tier moment. But from 5-1, Bellamy and Echo's kiss, I think it's my favorite kiss just because over the course of the 6 years, somebody that tried to kill him, somebody that not tried to kill his sister, it was kind of an incidental stab, but they did fight each other, so technically, yeah. From all of their issues, from going up into space, making amends, being together that long, a relationship that was set up the moment that they kind of met with the way that she kind of kept looking him up and down. To see that kiss play out and to see that couple, I really enjoyed it. So I like Bellamy and Echo. That's what the show did. You know, I'm rocking with it. Favorite kill? From season 5, episode 1, Clark capping the bald dude. There's no good guys. Shot him right in front of Maddie, too. That shit was violent. From 5-2, Octavia killing everyone. From 5-4, Kane killing Buddy with a hammer. That was pretty sick. From 5-6, Omori and Murphy's bomb. From 5-8, Cooper's worm explosion. From 5-9, Indra throwing a throwing knife in Buddy's eye. From 5-10, Maddie slicing Nash's throat. From 5-10, Vincent eating 2 people alive. From 5-12, Abby killing Vincent with his collar. From 5-13, what this is supposed to say, Clark curb stomping McCreary. I don't actually know if McCreary's dead or not, but that is on the list. But don't worry, it didn't win. My favorite kill was going to be Octavia killing everyone, but Abby frying Vincent with his collar was so fucking violent. I had to go that route. Abby killing Vincent just by electrocuting him to death to save Kane. Harsh she blows. Didn't think I'd have Abby on any list for favorite kills, but that's how it works. Favorite quote. We actually have a few for this season. From 5-2, our enemy was death, was Jaha. Him saying our enemy was death and anybody that invited that enemy in was a danger to our people. Jaha's last little speech there. I love Jaha overall as a character. I like his arc, even when he was a bad guy. I like the way he spoke. I like the way he handled himself. He was a dick. I'm not going to say that he wasn't. He wasn't a pure person. He had some logical things. When it came to the bunker, he was like, everybody's already unpacked their bags. They're already settled in. And somebody made a good point in the comment section. It's like, whose fucking fault is that? That's your fault. You didn't win this bunker. You just found it. Regardless, him saying our enemy was death was a very good quote. From 5-2, you're either one crew or you're against one crew. Choose. Obviously, Octavia. From 5-4, strength without mercy is nothing. From Marcus Kane. From 5-9, I'm sorry to interrupt your prayer, but it seems I'm here to answer them, was Indra talking to Gaia when it came about the commander. From 5-13, 2 serpents, 1 garden. Eden never stood a chance. Octavia de Diosa. I was going to give this to Kane. Strength without mercy is nothing is an overall powerful bar, but I think the best quote, I think that is my favorite quote. Strength without mercy is nothing, but I think the overall best quote for the season, you're either one crew or you're against one crew, choose. And the more Octavia said that, the more unhinged she kind of became throughout the course of the season. So I'm going to give that one to Octavia. Favorite friendship, your nominees, Indra and Kane, Raven and Murphy, Bellamy and Clark, Raven and Jonathan. Wait, I put them on there twice. Why'd I do that? Probably because I saw Murphy and I was like, that's not them. All right, so I only had 3 nominees. Wasn't a whole lot of friendship things going around on that. I was going to give it to Indra and Kane because their friendship and relationship keeps growing over the course of the show. I actually decided to give it to, friendship-wise, to Bellamy and Clark. The reason for that is because it was so strained, but every time one was mentioned to the other with somebody else's words, you saw how they kind of got soft, basically, how they kind of lowered their shoulders and their face lowered, and they knew, just like Clark learning that Bellamy was still alive, or Bellamy hearing Clark's name, blah, 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 that still caring for each other was there. So with them being favorite friendship, it's definitely not going to be favorite ship for reasons we'll get into. Now, favorite ship, here are your nominees. Murphy and Omori. Abby and Kane, Monty and Harper, Bellamy and Echo, Miller and Jackson, and Raven and Shaw, who was thrown together. I was kind of upset. I was really expecting this to be the season that Murphy and Omori would get this, just because they how they were set up in the last season. Abby and Kane, I was really hoping to see more of their relationship. It ended up being more strained over the pill usage, which makes sense. The runner-up from 3 to top, so bronze would be Miller and Jackson. They didn't really get too much screen time, but I liked when they were together. Silver medal would probably be Bellamy and Echo. A lot of you guys hate that relationship together, but again, it was set up. It's there. I know it kind of takes away from that Balarke ship, but I didn't mind them. But my favorite ship goes to the very wholesome Monty and Harper, especially coming off the heels of season 4 and their tension to coming back to being together in space, being together on Earth. Monty just wanted to be a farmer. Harper willing to just be in that family with him, and them two just to love each other. And some people thought that this was a makeshift relationship, and I read this in the comments, and it is pointed out a couple times that Harper was kind of hitting on Jasper at one point, in Jasper's head when his head was too big for his own body. And he kind of blew her off. And Monty was complimenting Harper. He said, "You have a perfectly beautiful person right there that you're putting to waste, basically. You're just pushing her to the side." Monty's like, I wouldn't do that. They end up getting together, Monty and Harper. I love the relationship. They were super playful. They were super in love with each other. They end up having the kid, and that's just, they deserve it. They deserve favorite ship for season 5. Yeah, that's who it is. No most underrated. I don't feel like Raven was underrated this season. I don't even feel like Maddie was underrated. That was going to be the winner. Vincent was going to be for a second until his little turn, but he's still kind of underrated for a moment. But I don't have a clear cut, for me, an underrated character for the season. I will go into least favorite character first. Your nominees for least favorite: Cooper, Dioza, McCreary. I did put Octavia on the list after the burning, but it wasn't any sort of hatred for the character. It's more of like a giant fucking disappointment. Least favorite character, 100%. As much as I didn't like Cooper, as annoying as Dioza is, I gotta give it to McCreary. He's a giant piece of shit. And I don't know if he's dead or not. It's making me very mad. So now for favorite character. Your favorite character list is as such. Remember, your winner from season 4 was Octavia. Spoiler alert, she will not be winning back-to-back, even though I really loved episode 2 and I loved the thought of Blood Reyna. Burning of that farm really pissed me off. So your favorite character nominees are Bellamy, Murphy, Marcus Kane, Clark, Monty, Raven, Indra, Shaw, Maddie. I loved all these characters, especially Indra in this season. I loved Indra. I would have to say Bellamy would... Kane is one of my favorite characters this entire show. He did some good stuff here, but not enough to warrant him in this spot. Bellamy would be higher up overall in the show if it wasn't for that dumb arc with him and Jaina and Pike. Seriously, if you remove that, he's one of the better characters in the show, but he has some baggage with him. What's in the past is in the past, but it's still some ruthless, vile shit. Indra, level-headed, going against the person she made her second and had to follow as Blood Reyna. Going back to the time of the Commanders was over, but then welcoming back in the time of the Commanders, giving the respect to Bellamy in the fighting pit, not being afraid to go against Octavia when she needed to. I really, 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 really love Indra. And I kind of I'm going to give her the co-award for this. My favorite character of the season was Monty. I'll just go ahead and say it outright. And it is more sympathy points because of the finale and the way it ended. But Monty overall wanting to just be the farmer and having solutions to try to save everybody and always being the most positive person when he could be was fun to watch. So my favorite characters for season 5 is going to be a co-win between Monty and Indra. Dims to breaks. Now for season naming and finale naming, I name all of the seasons. If you need it's kind of a quick refresher on this, I'll go in order from 1 through 5. Season 1 was named One Small Step for Man. Season 2, Sacrifice. Season 3, Love, Death, and Robots. Season 4, Doomsday Clock. And we dubbed Season 5, I gave away this already. We named Season 5 Space Invaders. That's what we went with. Now for the finales, for the recap, Season 1 was 3, 2, 1, Blast Off. Season 2 was Difficult Decisions. Season 3, Kill Switch Engage. Season 4 finale entitled Apocalypse Now. And Season 5 finale is entitled A New Hope. Coming up on the planet, we have A New Hope. And we'll see how it pans out. If you want to know the rankings, we get to a point where it's like, it's kind of set in stone, but not really. Still going back and forth on favorite season, still between 3 and 4. I do have to say, unfortunately, that Season 5 is my least favorite season so far. Season 5 is my least favorite compared to everything else. Somebody has to be at the bottom. Somebody has to come in last place. Somebody has to be the least favorite. And for right now, it is Season 5. And I would probably say the same thing about the finale. As much as I kind of had a bunch to say about the Season 4 finale, the Season 5 finale, even though it's the highest rated episode of the whole show, just felt like it was more of a setup for the 6th season rather than wrapping up the 5th season, if that makes sense. It had great moments, but for me, compared to the other ones, I love the other ones way more. So it's not a hate thing. It's more of just, I love the other things way more. That's just how it is. Now to wrap it up, we're going to send this home with the in memoriam, rest in peace, in loving memory to the following peeps. Those bugs that Clark splattered in her Humvee. The bird she shot. The prisoner who tried to kill Maddie. The bald guy who tried to save Maddie. All the grounders that Octavia killed. Thelonious Jaha, who should have died at the end of season 1. It would have been a beautiful farewell for a character. Whatever. All the grounders Cooper killed in the mini conclave. The grounder that big dude killed in the blood pit. The big ship's original captain and crew. Kingpin, which was that one bald guy we named that attacked him. The World War I soldier Maddie killed because of his fucking helmet. The peeps in the second mini conclave. The guy Kane killed with a hammer. One crew. I don't know what this is. Oh, okay. So it says the one crew Spaghettio that killed Octavia. It was that person that saved Octavia and got hit with that thing and got turned into a bowl of SpaghettiOs. That's who it was. Sometimes I forget my own jokes. Skabolba, whatever the fuck that dude's name was. The 2 space peeps blown up by the bomb. 1 crew defectors. Karina, worm peeps. Guy injured killed by pinching his nose to, help him go to sleep. Cooper, all the people killed in the Civil War. The guard injured killed with a throwing knife. Robert, Joram, the worms, maybe. The 2 dudes Vincent ate. The defectors executed by McCreary and Nash. Nash, the hydro farm. The worms, for sure. The dude Clark shot, most of 1 crew, Vincent, 2 guys Clark shot and killed, McCreary, ? And last but not least, the biggest death so far of the entire show, Planet Earth. Rest in peace. We're done with season 5. On to season 6 is a 13 episode season. We are 29 episodes remaining. We're about to wrap up this shit in just little over a month. Season 6, Episode 1, Sanctum, will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to watch any of the 71 episodes we've already watched for the 100, any of the 171 of the Vampire Diaries, the 92 of the originals, the 100 of Teen Wolf, links, and there's many, many more. The links are in the description box down below, again, for the Patreon, the Twitch stream, everything in between. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Season 5. If you loved it, if you hated it, don't put people down for their opinions in the comment section, and feel free to have civil conversations and debates as always. Remember, as always, no spoilers for the seasons. Sometimes wording can be spoilers, such as this character gets better in the next season. That makes me know that nothing happens to this character in this season. Any tension and suspense I am taken out of, because I'll know that they'll be safe. It's much like them threatening the moment in the Solo Star Wars movie where Chewbacca's hanging off the ledge. You think he's going to die, but you know he's not, because you watched 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and it kind of takes you out of those intense moments. So, with that being said, much love to you guys as always. Starting around the beginning of season 7, we will have a list of shows, more than 2 this time, that we will vote for, and we'll pick our next show we'll watch. We'll get an idea of what's to come throughout the latter half of 2022 as we enter the month of June. Much love to you guys as always. Again, links and everything in the description box down below. Playlist will be up on screen. Stay cute, stay hydrated, and I will catch you on the next one.